Henry VIII's quality life timeline. Henry VIII's father and mother, Henry VII of England and Elizabeth York, gave birth to him on June 28, 1491 at Greenwich Palace in Greenwich, London, England. He had 6 siblings, but only 3 survived: Arthur, Mary, and Margaret. Arthur married Catherine of Aragon and died of an unknown illness in 1502 after being married for barely 5 months. Catherine was left in a foreign country when he died. When Arthur died at 15, he left Henry, 10 years old at the time, the throne. His father, wanting to keep an alliance with Spain, offered Henry to Ferdinand of Aragon and Queen Isabella I of Castile, her parents. They said that Pope Julius had to grant dispensation of Arthur and Catherine's marriage first. Pope Julius did so in 1509 after Henry VIII's father died. Henry took over the throne and married Catherine at age 17. During his first few years of ruling England, he had help from Thomas Wolsey, and by 1515 he was Lord Chancellor. Catherine of Aragon birthed their first child to survive, Princess Mary. Henry was afraid of only having one child who could not carry on the Tudor rule since it was not male, as well as feeling cursed by God because in the book of Leviticus it bans marrying the wife of one's brother. When Catherine was 42, he had Cardinal Wolsey go to Pope Clement VII and asked him to annul their marriage. The Pope refused because he did not want to upset Catherine of Aragon's nephew, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. Cardinal Wolsey's time was cut short because he failed to carry out the king's wishes. He was charged of treason, arrested, and died while in custody. In 1533, after having an ongoing affair with Anne Boleyn, Henry married her because she was pregnant and decided he did not need permission from the Pope. In September, Anne Boleyn bore Henry's second daughter, Elizabeth. Henry promoted Thomas Cromwell as chief minister after Wolsey's downfall, and he helped Henry VIII declare his supremacy and establish himself as head of the Church of England. Thomas Cromwell then helped dissolve monasteries and took their land and treasure for the crown. By doing this, he became rich. Henry VIII then established multiple acts that outlined the relationship between him and the Pope, such as the Acts of Appeals, Acts of Succession, and the Acts of Supremacy, which established him to having supreme control over the Church of England, it becoming fully under his rule and had no influence from Rome. Anne Boleyn was unable to procure a male heir after giving birth to Elizabeth and having 2 miscarriages. Henry soon became interested in one of her ladies-in-waiting, Jane Seymour. Henry devised a story to get Anne executed, claiming that she committed incest, adultery, and was planning on murdering him. In 1536, Anne was put on trial, and she denied every single claim, but was still taken to the Tower Green and was executed. Henry VIII married Jane within 24 hours after Anne's execution. In 1537, Jane gave birth to Edward and died 9 days afterward due to an infection caused from giving birth. She was the only wife Henry considered to be his real wife, and she was mourned for a long time after her death. In 1540, Henry was ready to marry once more. It was suggested by Thomas Cromwell to marry Anne of Cleves. The marriage was disastrous, and after being wedded for only 6 months, they divorced. Cromwell was to blame, and Henry had him executed. Weeks later, he married Catherine Howard, who was only 19, and he was 49. After 2 years of marriage, Henry found out that she committed adultery and was executed on the Tower Green. Henry VIII's last marriage was to Catherine Parr in 1543. In 1547, Henry VIII died and left her a widow, and his son, Edward VI, succeeded the throne, while Mary and Elizabeth waited in succession. Henry was buried next to Jane Seymour in St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Art done by Sarah. Research and filming done by Karma. Bye!